Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु
Hare
नित्यानंद श्री
Krishna,
अद्वैत
Hare
गदाधर
Krishna, Krishna
श्रीवासादि गौर
Krishna.
भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Thursday. It is 28th of February. It is Govinda Masa, Phalguna Masa, Krishna Paksham, Ashtami Tithi. So there are no Vaishnava events in the calendar. We shall quickly move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण। In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so far, Sukadev Goswami was describing to Parikshit Maharaj about the different the time factors and also the creation of the universe from the starting from the Garbhodak Sai Vishnu and Brahma. So when he was starting to speak to Parikshit Maharaj, so that conversation is going on. Then Parimanam cha kalasya kalpa lakshana vigraham यथा पुरस्ताद वाक्यास्ये padmam kalpam ato shrunu. So when Sukadev Goswami said that I'm going to speak now about the Padma Kalpa, how the universe has created, and then later on I will describe about the time factors, how the from starting from the minutes and seconds and hours, days like that. So after when he was speaking like that, that is the inner conversations. Outer conversations are Suta Goswami is speaking the same conversations onto Saunakadi sages. So when Suta Goswami is saying that one, Saunaka sage, he was asking, requesting Suta Goswami, and he was remembering about Vidura. So before going into the further of the materialistic universe creation, so Saunika sage is asking Suta Goswami to speak about Vidura. So previously, Vidura, he has gone to the pilgrimage and he has met Vidura that you have already spoken to us. Now, and then after learning some transcendental knowledge, he returned back to his home. So can you please explain all these things of Vidura, what has happened to Vidura, what he has inquired from Maitreya Rishi? Likewise, Saunaka Sage is asking. So there, Saunaka Sage said, Yadaho no bhavan sota kshatta bhagavatottamaha chacharati dhani boh tyaktva bandhun suduschajan. He left all the family members before the Kurukshetra battle, and then he went on pilgrimage. So now Suta Goswami, Saunaka sage, he wanted to know about the Vidura. So he has met Maitreya Rishi, and there is a conversations between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. And then Vidura has asked many questions about the transcendental knowledge. And please, can you please explain all those transcendental knowledge to us instead of you explain about the Padmakalpam Ato Shrunu? So in such a way, Saunika sage is showing more interest to hear about the transcendental topics beyond the materialistic nature. So likewise, Saunika sage is asking. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 10, verse number 49 and 50. शत्रुः कौशारवेस्तस्य संवादो अध्यात्मसंसृतः यद्वा स भगवान् तस्मै पृष्टः तत्त्वम् उवाचः ब्रूहिणः तदिदं सौम्य विदुरस्य विचेष्टितम् बन्धुत्यागनिमित्तं च यतैव आगतवान् पुनः क्षत्रुः कौशारवेः तस्य. And Kshatruhu is the Vidura of Vidura, Kausaravehe onto Maitreya, of that of Maitreya, Tasya. So again it is the conversation. What is that one? Samvado. The conversations happen between Kshatruhu Kausharava. Kshatruhu Kausharavestasya Samvado. What is that Samvado? What is that discussion? What is that news? Adhyatma Sansritaha. This is in the matter of the transcendental knowledge, which is beyond the both the creation, maintenance, and destruction, and the time factor. Anyway, and one day the body is going to fall, and then this universe is going to be destroyed. So there is no stoppage, but eternal topics. This is what Saunaka Sage is more interested to understand. So the conversations between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi. क्षत्रुः कौशारवेस्तस्य संवादो अध्यात्म संश्रितः. अध्यात्म संश्रितः. So Samsrita is taking the shelter, the full of transcendental knowledge. Samsritah yadva sa bhagavamstasmai. Yadva sa bhagavamstasmai. Bhagavan is what is the transcendent knowledge about Yadva, whatever the conversation, sa bhagavan tasmai, that is about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, onto him, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yadva sa bhagavam tasmai prushtaha tattvam uvachaha. So Bhagavan here sometimes here, so this is also indirectly mentioning Maitreya Rishi, his grace, because this Vidura is inquiring, so inquiring from Maitreya Rishi. So Prushtaha Tattvam Uvachaha, so that Maitreya can speak whenever the great personality is being addressed or Bhagavati is being addressed. He is also treated as a Bhagavan at least once, but not like a Krishna. So whenever Krishna is being spoken, Bhagavan Bhavacha in all the places, and in the either Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. But whenever the great personality are speaking, first time they may be addressed as Bhagavan, later on Vidura Bhavacha, and then Maitreya Bhavacha, like that. But they are not addressed like Bhagavan Bhavacha all the time. So here, Prushtaha Tattvam Uvachaha. So Yadvasa Bhagavam Tasmai Prushtaha Tattvam Uvachaha. So conversations about the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the transcendental knowledge that has happened between Vidura and Maitreya. Vidura has asked on to Maitreya Rishi. And then, so here, whatever he is saying, Saunika sage is further asking, Bruhinaha tad idam saumya. Bruhinaha, please speak to us. Naha, unto us. Bruhi, please speak. Kindly describe Bruhi. So he is mentioning. Please tell. Tad yidam saumya. And whatever the matters those have discussed. Saumya, O gentle one, O soft-hearted Sutta Goswami. Viduraha, Vidurasya Vichestitam. So whatever the activities of the Vidurasya Vichestitam. Vidura, he has left the family and then he returned back after learning the transcendental knowledge. Please tell all the activities of Vidura. So he is inquiring from Maitreya Rishi so many things. Please. Vidurasya Vichestitam. Bandhutyaga Nimittam Cha. And so Bandhutyaga, so he is the renouncing all the family and friends. Bandhutyaga Nimittam Cha, the cause of. And Yataiva Agatavan Punaha. And then, so this is, he has this performed a few activities after. So Saundakasyaji is interested to know because he has left the family and then again he returned back. Yataiva agatavan punaha. So in the similar way, as yata eva agatavan, he came back punaha again to home, at home. So we have seen whenever uh, he has written back again all the Yudhishthira and all the Pandavas and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, they were all receiving Vidura with so much of love and affection when he has returned back to Hastinapura after his pilgrimage. And then he stayed there few months and then he giving pleasure to all the family members. Later on, he has given that transcendental knowledge onto Dhritarashtra as well. He spoke to him so that to cut the knots of the Dhritarashtra's family affection, so that in his last stages, saying to help him to by giving transcendental knowledge so that he will attain the salvation. So in such a way, that has happened. At that time, there are again beautiful conversations that we have already seen in the first canto, or the maybe 13th or 14th chapter. Vidura returns home. And then Dhritarashtra, he was enlightened in the transcendental knowledge that whatever Vidura has acquired from the Maitreya Rishi. So these are very beautiful conversations. It will completely be described in the third canto and the fourth canto as well. So this is the bandhutyagamivitam cha yataiva agatavan punaha. Chattuh कौशारवेस्तस्य संवादो अध्यात्म संस्कृतः यद्वा स भगवांस्तस्मै पुष्टः तत्त्वम् उवाचः ब्रूहिणः तद्यदं सौम्य विदुरस्य विचेष्टितं बन्धुत्यागनिमित्तं च यतैव आगतवान् पुनः. So translation for this verse. Savanaka Rishi said, let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidura and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please let us know the activities of Vidura while he was in the places of pilgrimage. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So can I request Thursday, Radha, can I request Radha Sevaka Mataji if available to read the purport? Okay, if not, can I request Saranya Mataji if available?
Hare Krishna. Sri Sudha Goswami was narrating the topic of the creation and destruction of the material world, but it appears that the rishis headed by Shaunaka were more inclined to hear of transcendental subjects which are on a higher level than the physical. There are two classes of men, namely those two addicted to the gross body and the material world, and others on the higher level who are interested more in transcendental knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam gives facility to everyone, both to the materialist and to the transcendentalist. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the Lord's glorious activities, both in the material world and in the transcendental world, men can derive equal benefit. The materialists are more interested in the physical laws and how they are acting, and they see wonders in those physical glamours. Sometimes, due to physical glamour, they forget the glories of the Lord. They should know definitely that physical activities and their wonders are all initiated by the Lord. The rose in the garden gradually takes its shape and color to become beautiful and sweet, not by a blind physical law, although it appears like that. Behind that physical law is the direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. The artist draws a picture of a rose very nicely with all attention and artistic sense, and yet it does not become as perfect as the real rose. If that is the real fact, how can we say that the real rose has taken its shape without intelligence behind the beauty? This sort of conclusion is due to a poor fund of knowledge. One must know from the above description of creation and annihilation that the Supreme Consciousness, being omnipresent, can take care of everything with perfect attention. That is the fact of omnipresence of the Supreme Lord. Persons still more foolish than the gross materialist, however, claim to be transcendentalist and claim to have such supreme all pervading consciousness, but offer no proof. Such foolish person cannot know that what is going on behind the next wall. Yet they are falsely proud of possessing the cosmic, all pervading consciousness of the Supreme Person. For them also, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is a great help. It will open their eyes to see that simply by claiming supreme consciousness, one does not become supremely conscious. One has to prove in the physical world that he has such supreme consciousness. The rishis of Naimisharanya, however, were above the gross materialist and the false transcendentalist, and thus they were always anxious to know the real truth in transcendental matters as discussed by authorities. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely reading and reading this purport. So here in the purport, as Prabhupada is describing, Sutta Goswami was narrating the topics of the creation and destruction of the material world. So it appears that this is whenever he was mentioning, I'm going to start from Padmakalpa, how the creation. So immediately Saunaka sage asked him, so I wanted to know that transcendental knowledge. Otherwise, knowing about this creation, how everyone takes birth and grows and get diseases and die, and then this again takes birth, and then in the similar way, universe also happened at the beginning of the creation. Mahabhutani ahankaro buddhiravyaktam eva cha indriyani dasekam cha pancha cha indriya gocharaha ichadvesha sukham dukkham संगश्चेतना संगस संगस चेतना धृतिः एतत् चेतन समासेन सविकारम उदाहृतम. So these are all the different energies of the external energies of the Lord. It will happen. So like our body changes, savikaram udahrutam. All the times the changes are happening either in the body or in the universal things. The cycle is keep on going, like the oceans, the clouds, rains, seasons, days, months, years. No one will stop. So antah anantah anadi adikrud avyayah janam janena janayan maryan mrityunantakam. So this time factor is so powerful that even it will kill the maryan mrityunantakam, even the god of death. He will also be annihilated by the time. So in such a way, that time it always represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Knowing about this, keep on changing, which are due to the time and subject to change, there is no use. So here, Saunaka sages are inclined to hear transcendental subjects. Transcendental subjects. What are the transcendental subjects that Krishna he says that Edajnani miti proktam adhyanam yadato anyata. What is transcendental knowledge? What is that jnanam? What is the transcendental knowledge? So he says, Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantir adjavam acharyopasanam saucham stairim atma vinigraha indriyadeshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jaravyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam asaktihi anabhiswangaha putradharu gruhadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishta-nishtopapattishu मयिचानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्धदर्शनम् एति ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यदतो अन्यथा. So Krishna spoke this knowledge, what is called Adhyatma-jnana-nityatvam. So whenever he is explaining about Indriyadesu Vairagyam, this is called all the knowledge. And being in a secluded place, lonely place, and engaging oneself in the sense control. And then Maitanya Yogena Bhakti Vicharini, devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Cha Ananya Yogena, without any deviation. Vivikta Desh Sevitvam, being in a secluded place, Aratir Jana Samsadi, not being in the Sangha. This is called Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. He would see the truth through this transcendent knowledge, he will see the truth, absolute truth. Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. This is what Krishna calls Etat Jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadato anyata. So knowing about this universe and the time factor, everything else, of course, as long as they are representing the Lord, just hearing about it, it is good, but it is not the ultimate. That is the external energy of the Lord. But ajnanam yadato anyata, when Krishna says, This is the knowledge, transcendental knowledge. So this is what Saudaka wanted to. He is inclined to hear those transcendental subjects which are on higher level than the physical. So here two classes of men, namely two addicted to the gross body and the material world. These are the so-called scientists and exploring the nature and exploiting the nature, exploring and exploiting how they can be utilized for their sense gratification. But there is other people on the higher level who are interested more in transcendental knowledge. So who sees all these changes happening within this material world. It is bodily things are happening, mechanical things are happening, but they wanted to know more about the person behind all these activities, person behind all the this gigantic mission, the universal mission. He wanted to know. The knowing about that one is called transcendental knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam gives facility to everyone, both the materialist and to the transcendentalist. So this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam in the matter of the Lord's glorious activities, both in the material world and in the transcendental world, men can derive equal benefit. See, this is some people we also see that though they have been reading Bhagavatam, they do not take to the devotional service. They are simply satisfied with describing the universe. Universe is like that. Universe dimensions are like this, and it contains 7 oceans, 7 islands. Likewise, they started speaking, and that is where they're satisfied. They do not go beyond that. Who is the cause for all this cosmic manifestation? But here, because they are satisfied, but transcendentalists on the higher level, they are also happy in hearing the glories of the Lord. So in such a way, both are deriving the equal benefit. So materialists are more of interested in the physical laws and how they are acting, and they see wonders in those physical glamours. And those sometimes due to physical glamours, they forget the glories of the Lord. So this is what when if we give a child a small simple toy, he would start playing with that toy immediately and then getting so much of pleasure. But he does not see who has given that one and what is behind it. It is the Lord or the Father has given it, and he has spent some money. So with the loving affection onto the child, but child does not understand how much love that father and mother has got towards him, but child is simply playing with that toy. This is called, this is due to physical glamours, they forget the glories of the Lord. They should know definitely that physical activities and their wonders are all initiated by the Lord. See, this is unless there is an affection towards the conditioned souls, this universe creation, having this nice world, nice weather, and having all the seasons and everything, arranging proper houses for the conditioned souls that you take birth in this to this father and mother. In such a way, he arranges everything according to our desires. This is all not because of uh, just the material nature. So because behind that there is a desire of the living entity and also arrangement of the Lord. Both are there. So in material nature, it simply karmana daiva netrena. It simply arranges according to the desire of the living entity and the Lord's arrangement. Tam jiva karma padavim anuvattamanaha. The Lord as a super soul, he always supervises what the living entity is desiring. So the rose in the garden gradually takes its shape and color to become beautiful and sweet, not by blind physical law, although it appears so. So here, whenever the Kapil Bhagavan describing whatever the flowers and the fruits and so many herbs in the forest, everywhere it is happening, it is just by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. यद् वनस्पतयो भीताः लताश्च ओषधिभिः सह श्वे श्वे काले अभिगृह्णन्ति पुष्पाणि च फलानि च. So here Kapil Bhagwan says, out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So bhitaha is what by the fear what happens? Yad vanaspatayo bhitaha latasha voshadibhihi saha latasha. This is the creepers Latasha Voshadibihi, all the herbs, Saha, along with so many other things. Sve Kali Abhigruhnanti. And due to the time fact, as soon as the spring season comes in the February month, immediately all the trees blossom with all the yellow flowers, pink flowers, red flowers, so many beauties are coming out. Sve Kali Abhigruhnanti, Pushpani cha Phalani cha, the flowers and fruits, because of the fear of the Lord. So Lord is behind that. So this is the not by blind physical law, although it appears like that. Behind that physical law is the direction of the complete consciousness of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot take shape so systematically. It is not only the flowers and fruits, even the oceans as well. Oceans and rivers. Sravanti sarito bhitaha न उत्सर्पति उदर्यतः अग्निरिन्दे सगिरिभिः भूः न मज्जति यद्भयात्. Sravanti sarito bhitaha. All the rivers, they also sravanti. It is also flowing these rivers. Sarito bhitaha, by the fear of the Lord. Na uttarpati udiryataha. Na uttarpati udiryataha. Even though the ocean does not move away from the beach, it will not sunken the cities or villages are surrounding the ocean, next to the ocean. Navasarpati Vajriyaha, it is always controlled. It does not move its line. Agnirihinde Sagiribihi Bhuhu, Agnihi Inde. That is, the fire is blazing and all this Sagiribihi Bhuhu. This is all these big mountains and hills. They are very heavyweight. The earth is floating on the oceans. So this is Garbhodaka ocean. It is floating on the Garbhodaka ocean. Sagiribihi Bhuhu. Otherwise, it is too heavy. And how come it is floating? And it does not sink. Namajjati, namajjati, it does not sink in the water. Because yad bhayat, by the fear of the Lord. So Lord is behind everything. So this is again the sunrise. Yad bhayat vati vatoyam surihatapati yad bhayat. See, this is everything. The wind is blowing, the sun is rising, and also whatever is the mrityu is also, the death is also taking place by the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The stars are glowing in the sky by fear of Bhagano Bhati Yad Bhayar. Bhagano Bhati, the stars in the sky, they're also glowing because the fear of the Lord. Everything is happening by the Lord's will, by the fear of the Lord. Not by, and it is happening systematically. Can see, otherwise things cannot go take shape so systematically. The artist draws a picture of a rose very nicely with all attention and artistic sense, and yet it does not become as perfect as the real rose. If it is if that is the real fact, how can we say that the real rose has taken its shape without intelligence behind the beauty? See, there is always the reason behind it. This is the inquiring about the what is the source of this. That is called transcendental knowledge. It is not the knowing about the flower. It is behind what is the reason behind it. This sort of conclusion is due to poor fund of knowledge. One must know from the above descriptions of creation and annihilation that supreme consciousness being omnipresent can take care of everything with perfect attention. That is the real thing. Karmana daivanetrina jentuhu deha upapattaye. So everyone takes body according to the divine nature. मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते. So likewise, the Lord says, and here again, that is the fact of the omnipresence of the Supreme Lord. Persons still more foolish than the gross materialists, however, claim to be transcendentalists and claim to have such supreme, all-pervading consciousness, but offer no proof. This is all about the some kind of fake babas. So thinking that I am the God, something like that. Fake babas, fake gurus, something like that. These are more foolish than the gross materialists. And such foolish persons cannot know what is going on behind the next wall, yet they are falsely proud of possessing the cosmic, all pervading consciousness of the Supreme Person. So this is one of the beautiful things. So just I was hearing when I was in the Mahakumbh at the time, and the one night, the first night we were staying on 29th of January, the Mauni Amavasya day. So we have come to that tent, free tent, and then sleeping in the next morning when we wake up, everywhere there is a cloud. And then next to our tent, so someone is just blazing the fire, doing some kind of fire sacrifice, and also worshipping Tulsi, and then going to Ganges, taking bath. And then still the cloud didn't go until 8 o'clock. But someone is coming saying that, so my Guru Maharaj has done. So the Guru, this kind, but it is not the natural one, it is artificially done. So some people they claim that one, but we do not know the real facts of it. But for everything, the Krishna conscious, Krishna is behind it. Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suite sacharacharam. Some people they also claim that, but we do not know whether it is real or not, whether they have control over the nature, the clouds, the sun movements, and whether that we do not know. That is, Prabhupada, foolish persons cannot know what is going on behind the next wall. So, but here, everything happens by the will of the Lord. It is not by some materialistic persons. For them also, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam is a great help. It will open their eyes to see that simply by claiming supreme consciousness, one does not become supremely consciousness. So this is why we have to hear. This is by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Yashyam vai Shrimayanam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktirutpajyate Pumsaha Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Moha, the illusion will be eradicated out. Shoka, lamentation will be eradicated out of. This is Shoka Moha Bhayapaha, the fear of death. Fear, it will be completely evaporated. One can face the world wherever he is, as he is, when he is in completely Krishna consciousness. Yasyam by Shri, this is by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing, just simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasyam vai Shri Mayayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhakti Rutpadite Pumsa. Not only that, and also devotion to the Supreme Lord, it will also sprout in the heart. Okay, so and then the rishis of Naimisharanya, however, were above the gross materialists and the false transcendentalists, and thus they were always anxious to know the real truth in transcendental matters, as discussed by authorities. So they wanted to know the real truth in transcendental matters. This is what is required. It is not that one Baba has done magic and one Baba did cure the diseases. What it matters to us? They do not save the life. They do not give the eternity. These are all not helpful to the conditioned souls. Many people they are all foolishly following such kind of babas and then fake gurus like that, just for the sake of the health and just for the sake of earning money and blessing, something like that. These are all materialistic in nature. But here the Saunakasaji is asking about the transcendental matters. This is eternal matters, eternal subject matters. Okay, so that is Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is very, one has to be always inquisitive. This is Atato Brahma Jijnasa, the inquisitiveness about the soul and super soul, how the transcendental activities takes place. It is a science. It is not a blind faith. So Krishna can again, religion without philosophy, it is a blind faith. And philosophy without a religion, it is a mental speculation. But Krishna consciousness is science, and also at the same time, it is the religious practices. One has to scientifically understand what is Krishna consciousness, how he can be detached from the material world, and how he will attain the spiritual nature, clearing from all kinds of bad qualities. No more. This is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Machara, Arishad Vargas completely will be cleared out from his heart and attaining the divine qualities. that Krishna has mentioned. The sadhu qualities, Ajata Satravaha, तितिक्षवः कारुणिकाः सुहृदः सर्वदेहिनम् अजातशत्रवः शान्ताः sadhavah sadhubhushanah. These are the very high level. But Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter 1 to 3 verses 26 divine qualities. That is of the devotees. Okay, so that is how one can be purified by hearing Krishna Katha. Okay, that is transcendental subject matters. शत्रुः कौशारवेस्तस्य संवादो अध्यात्मसंश्रितः यद्वा स भगवान् तस्मै पृष्टः तत्त्वम् उवाचहम् ब्रूहिणः तद्इदं सौम्य विदुरस्य विचेष्टितं बन्धुत्यागनिमित्तं च यतैव आगतवान् पुनः यतैव आगतवान् पुनः. Okay, likewise Saunaka said is inquiring. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay, so we shall quickly move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today letter to Jagadisha, July 9th, 1970, Los Angeles. Okay, can I request Hangma Mataji to read the letter, please?
Hare Krishna. My dear Jagadisha, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 29th June 1970 and noted the contents. I'm very glad that you are all devotees working hard to improve the temple in both appearance and program. I understand that you are doing very nicely on Sankirtana party, and now you have been able to purchase a Sankirtana van for traveling. So you do this work of pushing on Krishna consciousness movement very enthusiastically, and Krishna will help you to overcome all impediments in the matter of discharging your sincere devotional service to the Lord. I am especially happy whenever I learn that my books and literatures are being widely distributed. So it is very good news to learn that you are also selling so many of our literatures. In this connection, however, you should see that the daily sales are recorded duly, and at the end of the week, the amount owed for these sold literature should be sent by check to LA. I have already advised these things to you in my letter sent last week. Anyway, the idea is that now we are increasing in size of our organization, and also our expenditures for literatures are increasing, so we must do everything very carefully so that there will not be any difficulty. You have written that your temple is like an oasis in a desert. Yes, it is a fact that our temples are providing shelter from the burning forest fires of material existence. It does not matter poor quarter or richer quarter. Our temples are nothing to do with any material situation. They are situated in the spiritual sky, and as such, they are the only alternative offering relief from the miseries of all kind of material conditions of life. So encourage people to come and spend time with us in the temple and become purified from all contaminations and anxieties. Everyone is suffering from thirst for spiritual life or Krishna consciousness, and it is the temple which can offer them Krishna consciousness to satisfy their thirsting. Regarding your temple schedule of study, it is all right, so continue your classes regularly and try to understand the philosophy as it is that is required. I have been informed by Devananda that your wife has borne you one nice son. So this is very good news. You may give him the name Nirmala Chandra. Nirmala means without any flaws or without contamination, and Chandra means moon. So the name Nirmala Chandra refers specifically to Lord Chaitanya, who is known as the spotless moon of Gauda. Now you, husband and wife, must work together combinedly with great responsibility for raising your new child in ideal Krishna consciousness. Children learn by imitation of their parents, so if you both set Krishna conscious example, the child will very naturally and easily become advanced in Krishna consciousness by following. Please offer my blessings to your good wife, Lakshmi Moni, and your son. Regarding your several questions, where are the spirit souls coming from that are taking micro bodies? It is not a matter of any particular body. These spirit souls and all spirit souls are coming from Vaikuntha, but in these material worlds, they are taking various grades of bodies according to their material activities. There is no new soul. New and old are due to this material body, but the soul is never born and never dies. So if there is no birth, how can there be new soul? Your second question, is there any particular reason why some spirit soul become directed towards Krishna consciousness in the first place? How does one get on progressive path of elevation to Krishna consciousness? The answer is that it is by the mercy of the Lord that one comes in contact with a spiritual master who can revive the dormant Krishna consciousness on the conditioned soul. Krishna is always merciful and he comes himself. He leaves behind him instruction like Bhagavad Gita, etc. And he sends his representative, the spiritual master. In this way, the merciful propaganda is going on. Every individual soul has got the discriminating power, so those who are pious, they take advantage of this opportunity of the mercy of the Lord. But both pious and impious souls are being convinced by this Krishna consciousness movement. The human being is supposed to be intelligent more than the animals, so the intelligent person or pious person are coming in contact with Krishna consciousness. Regarding your questions with reference to uh, BG, BG Prabhuji, is it Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Bhagavad Gita.
BG 3:5 and the Vedic hymn quoted in the purport to Bhagavad Gita 14.15 and the statement, when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. You have quoted, the Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so he may be elevated. The Lord engages him in impious activities so he may go to hell. So that is also originally the individual soul's desire, and as super soul, the Lord is giving everyone the opportunity to go to heaven or to hell or to Vaikuntha. So if he so desires. For those who are hankering after material opportunities, the Lord as super soul is giving them the opportunities to enjoy the material nature, and the facility is being supplied by the material nature. Similarly, a living entity who is desiring for spiritual upliftment, the Lord is giving him the opportunity of the Vedic literatures and the spiritual master. But his advice to all living entities is to give up all nonsense and everything else and surrender unto him. The living entity, by accepting one kind of opportunity, is going to hell, and by accepting the other kinds of opportunities, he is going back to home, back to Godhead. So both opportunities are offered by Lord. Therefore, indirectly, you can say that one is being sent to hell and one is being sent to spiritual world by the Lord. But he is simply supplying the opportunities to everyone as he desires. The intelligent person, therefore, does not desire anything. He simply surrenders unto the Lord, or he desires to serve the Lord, and that is his greatest opportunity. Man proposes and God disposes. That is the sum and substance. But as a pure devotee of the Lord, you should not propose. Simply accept his proposal and surrender unto him. So far, the conditioned soul is concerned, the same opportunities are there, but if he does not take advantage of the opportunity to elevate himself to Krishna consciousness and chooses to misuse his independence for taking the opportunity to enjoy some material happiness, then he will remain conditioned as the Lord will allow him to fulfill those desires. The opportunity is always there, just as we are offering so many ways to become Krishna conscious. But if you don't take the opportunity, what can I do? That is purposeful negligence of duty. The example may be given of a man who is sleeping. If he is actually sleeping, he may be wakened by various means, but there's no doubt that he must wake up. However, if a man is pretending to be asleep, there is no way at all to rouse him up. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. It is a very long and large letter. And so,
Yes, Prabhuji, but there was lots of new and nice points as well.
yes. Maybe due to the time, maybe we can discuss this one tomorrow because it contains so many of points that Prabhupada has mentioned. For example, the living entities coming from the Vaikuntha and Krishna consciousness centers or like Vyasis. So many things Prabhupada has mentioned. So just maybe for the sake of 1 to 2 paragraphs, we see any takeaway points, and then we shall also come back to the same letter tomorrow.
Yes, Prabhuji. So the first two paragraph, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions that whenever you are working towards a Krishna consciousness, the Lord is always there to help you, and he will help you with all the obstacles, and Lord Krishna, he will take care of you. And he is and Srila Prabhupada, he's happy that the book distribution is going on well, and the organization is also increasing, and he also advises to keep the accounting for the book as he had described in the previous letter, to do it accordingly. And yes, Prabhuji, so these are the in short, this is the first two paragraphs, and we can discuss the important points nicely tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. So maybe you can find this video in the YouTube as well in our channel, and you would see the letter to Jagadesha 8 Veda base. If you just go there and then have a reflect, and tomorrow you can share all those reflections to us.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so that
Thank
is
you,
from
Prabhuji.
Srila Prabhupada's letter. Okay, from the announcements point of view. So today evening we have got Krishna book reading at 8 p.m. with Shyam Gudewada Prabhuji and Ramnath Sekar Prabhuji. That is one thing. And with regards, so we have paid this Zoom subscription fees as well. It was automatically direct debited. And then next one is the Narasimha Chaturdasi. Those are done. And this I have requested Shyam Prabhuji. I'm waiting for his response when he is going to the temple. As soon as I receive response from Prabhuji, and then I will share further news on that one. Okay, and then I will also share the total, the fundraise and how it has been distributed as well in a high level view. Okay, those are the updates from me. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Okay, if there are no further updates, and also just by tomorrow, we are completing Bhagavatam second canto, and Saturday morning we are going to recite the chapter, and then we are going to start third canto on Sunday. Okay, so that is also one of the our Sanghas milestones that we are crossing slowly, one shloka by one shloka. Okay, and we would like to hear from Meena Mataji about her pilgrimage on Saturday morning as well. So Mataji, so kindly have all these descriptions and the pastimes that you have gone through so that you can share with us on Saturday morning. Okay, so that
Yes.
is it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so if you're all happy, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Unless if you wanted to share anything else. Okay, so we shall conclude. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटिवैष्णववृन्द की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय Have a Krishna conscious day everyone. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त